How many more years do you need to waste before you play your part and get you where you want to be? Welcome to How to Beat You podcast. I'm your one and only host, Jarrell Henry. And you can stay up to date with all things How to Beat You at our personal socials at Jarrell.Henry. And today we're talking about making the most out the new year. This is your chance to change your life and get you in a great position that you can love forever. Don't waste it. I say make at least 3 real hard goals for this new year and give your all to it. And by real hard, I mean just past what you think you can capable of. Like make 3 grand plans and go do it. I think I need to talk about like last year for me. Last year, 2024, I really for almost for what might be like the first time in my life, I really, really, really locked in. And I had all these goals and plans, and I didn't know how capable I was of doing so. Um, but I didn't end up making a lot of progress in the first half of the year, and that was really frustrating to me because I knew what I was capable of. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't able to do it, and it hurt. But I was still learning and still trying and still implementing. So come the second half of the year, I was really, really, really on a whole nother level. I developed a discipline that I never had before. I developed a focus that I never had before. I developed a hunger, a passion, a drive that I never even knew was possible coming from me. And from it, I got this podcast and I also got my project, not how to beat you, but my project, Growing Pains. And that was so beautiful because that was something I had been working on for at least the last 2 years, but it wasn't working out. And I finally got it out on the 30th of December. So it's not, you got a whole year to lock in, but it's on you to choose to do so. I was looking it up, and about 80% of people's New Year's resolutions fail because anybody can make a plan, but are you going to actually do it? Are you going to do the hard work? It's not impossible, but you just have to choose to do it. And you got to know that like nobody is stopping you from living the life you want to live or putting in the work that you want to put in, but you. So what you going to do? Because it's easy to point all these fingers, but what they say, when you point a finger, you got 3 more pointing straight back at you. You got to play your part in your dreams. Your dreams is not reliant, or it shouldn't be reliant on other people's opinions or thoughts. There are things you can do to get yourself in position if you really, really, really wanted to. Like, for example, I got a homie who wants to get in sports broadcasting. So now he talking about starting to do content and things like that so he can get his own platform. Even though that's a job he wanna eventually be on ESPN or whatever, you can build your own platform. You can build your own world to thrive in, but you have to build it. And that's what this is for me. This is my own platform to say what I want to say, do what I want to do, and live how I want to live. So, but nobody's stopping me. And it took time for me to understand that, just like nobody's stopping you. You so worried about what other people gonna say about how you moving and what you do, but everybody don't care. Like, or some very, very few people genuinely care. More will talk shit. There will be more people who will come and talk shit, but not they still not gonna care whether you do the work or not. They just looking to talk shit. They gonna talk shit whether you do it good. They gonna talk shit whether you do it bad, and they gonna talk shit if you don't do it at all. So you might as well do your own thing. And it's important when you like setting your goals that you come up with a good why, a good reason. When life feels like hell and you don't know how to continue or why you want to continue, that's when you lean on your why. That's when you lean on what's this shit really all about. Cause a lot of people chasing money, and it's nothing wrong with you wanting to get your bag, but with that comes ups and downs. And if you don't have a good enough reason, you probably will very struggle or might not make it through that down time. And that's what it takes in your goals. This a long journey. This a long path, and you got to be patient. And sometimes, like I said, with my project, you might not get it, the progress you want or anything and the timing you want it. I wanted to drop, like I said, I wanted to drop that project 2 years ago. And then last year, and then at the beginning of that year, and then it didn't end up coming out to December 30th. But by then, I was doing the work the whole time, but I didn't know when the right time was. It just kind of happened like that. So you just gotta keep going, but with a good enough why, it kept me motivated. I knew what I was doing it for. I knew the vision I saw. I knew how bad I wanted it. It just wasn't time yet. And then eventually it was. And I thank God for that. And I think it's also important that you come up with a plan to how to execute your goals. A lot of times we overcomplicate that process, the actual making the plan, because you might want this perfect, well thought of plan or whatever, but life don't work like that. Eventually, you got to be flexible anyway, because life gonna be throwing its haymakers. And if you so rigid to your plan, you might not be able to keep going because your plan probably won't work as you drew it out. And that's just how it go. That's just how this shit happens. So what you gonna do when it fucks up? And that's why I say a simple plan is great. And it's much better than having no plan at all, because without any plan, you just kind of aimlessly drifting, which I did for years, which I understand very well. And you can still be working hard, but if it's not directed in a way to get you the proper success, it's not going to get you that success because it isn't really thought out. You don't understand the big steps to your goal. It's not important that you understand every single small step, but if you don't at least know the major ones, it's going to be a very hard journey and you're going to have to learn that eventually. So make a plan. You don't have to have all the bells and whistles and everything. It's not necessary, but you got to show up and it be like that. And you got to control what you can control. You can't be so reliant on everybody else for your goal that you don't do your goal. This is your goal. Like a lot of people's plans for the year, they want to lose weight, but they be like, oh, I was planning on working out with my friend, but she don't want to work out today, so I'm not gonna work out. No, this is your goal. She got her own separate goal, and whether she get that goal or not, don't matter. We're talking about your plan. So so what if somebody else don't want to show up for you and your goal? Nigga, you got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to play your part. Sometimes it's a little different where it's a team and you got to play it smart, but then you can still maximize your part of that as much as you can and still get results from that. So don't be so reliant on other people that you're not moving forward in your own plan. And it's important to state that a little progress is better than nothing. Sometimes it only takes a little. Like in Atomic Habits, they speak on like the art of developing habits and the art of a small win. Like it speaks on in the book, it speaks on that if you want to work out, if you want to work out in the morning, the small guaranteed way to get you to work out is like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna put on my running shoes or I'm gonna put on my running clothes. And that can build momentum to get you where you want to be. You don't have to, it doesn't all the, you might not make it to the gym from that example, but regardless, it got you. If you get in the habit of doing that, it'll be easier to progress. Like when I'm reading, I be telling myself like, I'm gonna read a word and what happens after that happens after that. If I get a sentence and cool, great. I didn't really want to read right now anyway, but I was just doing what I told myself I was going to do. And over time, I finished that book. Oh, I might have finished another book. And it just happen like that. So you need to be able to accept sometimes your best isn't much, but it still deserves to be respected because it is all that you have. And that's fine. And if you give it all you have, you will make progress. You will get closer to you want to be. And if you somebody who been on their shit, somebody who been working, who been plotting, planning, and scheming on their goals, all right, this year, take it further. You've been at this level, but you can still rise. There's still room to improve. There's still things you're doing wrong. There's still things you can invest in, or things you can learn, or people you can talk to help you get to a whole nother level. So find that and do that. Like, it's all capable. You're capable of doing all of that, but you have to choose to do it. This is your chance. You can change your life. You can make this a year that you talk about and remember for the rest of your life. And in this year, in a place completely different, but you have to do the work. You have to make the plans, and you got to execute. So thank you for tuning in to How to Beat You podcast. I'm your host, Jarrell Henry. You can stay up to date with How to Beat You podcast at all our socials at Jarrell.Henry. We got an episode every Wednesday, so please continue to check in. Please check out Growing Pains, the EP. It's out now. And thank you for all your love and support. You got this. This is your year. Keep going. Thank you.